Hey y'all, do you struggle with motivation? Like, is that an area that you know you have difficulty in? Well, I want to give you a few tips on how you can stay motivated or increase your motivation. But before I get started, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So first things first, are you extrinsically motivated or are you intrinsically motivated? So what do I mean by that? Does it come from within you? Is it just your drive or the way, you view yourself that motivates you? Or is it outside factors? Maybe it's someone's approval. Maybe it's something that's more tangible like money. I think it's so important for you to know which one of those things drives your motivation because it gives you just a foundation for how you are motivated, right? So if you're noticing that, hey, I'm not as motivated as before, or maybe I'm really motivated about this and it hasn't always been that way, by looking at those different factors, you can kind of pinpoint what's really driving your motivation. So drop down in the comments and let me know, are you motivated by internal factors or external factors? Something else that's really important when talking about motivation is what is your goal? Sometimes it's hard to be motivated because you don't even know what you're doing. Okay, what is the goal? What are you trying to accomplish here, right? And it's so important for you to have that spelled out specifically. I like SMART goals, right? If you don't know what a SMART goal is, the S is specific, the M is measurable. What's the steps that's going to take you to get here? Who's holding you accountable? Is this realistic? And what is the time, that you're going to accomplish this in? It's so important for you to have that SMART goal so you can know what you're working towards and how you're going to get there. That way you're able to, build your motivation, right? You're able to look at those internal or those external factors that you need to have in place to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. So we just talked about the SMART goals framework, right? And the A means accountability. So let's unpack that for a second, right? Who is holding you accountable when it comes to your level of motivation, right? I know for some people who are more intrinsically motivated, for some things you may not require an accountability partner. But whether you're intrinsically or you're extrinsically motivated, there's all some things that we just don't want to do. And we need somebody to hold us accountable in those things. So who is helping you with that? Especially if you struggle with your motivation, you need to surround yourself, with people who are where you want to be, number one. And then number two, who can hold you accountable when it comes to your level of motivation. That is so important. And, some of us just miss that sometimes. It is hard out here for us, introverted people. We ain't trying to get out there and talk to people and do all these things. But it is so important for you to have a community of people that you can trust and that can help you along the way when it comes to building your motivation. So who are those people for you? Now, this is something that I don't think that many of us think about when we are talking about motivation, and that is a routine. Listen, if your routine is lacking, I can almost guarantee you that your motivation is lacking as well. You need a routine, right? What does that look like for you? What time are you waking up in the morning? Are you just hitting that snooze button until, you got 2 minutes to get out the door? Or are you, getting up at the same time every day? Are you doing what you need to do so that you can start off your day, successfully to really build on it, as the day goes on? What does your routine look like for you? I think that is so important, y'all. As a former teacher, if you don't know, your girl was a special education teacher for about 5 years. Shout out to all my students out there. And one thing that I really learned was that a routine is gold. I remember that I would always set a timer, but there were times where I didn't even have to set a timer for my students. they would just do what they were supposed to do just like automatically. And that's what a routine does, right? It helps you to build that foundation for yourself so that you can get things accomplished, so that you can have the motivation to do things. When we don't have a routine, sometimes it feels like, we just going and coming. We don't know what's going on. Ain't nothing getting done, and you don't feel like doing nothing. I wonder why. You have to be on a routine. So what does that look like for you? We all have things that we want to, be doing on a regular basis, whether that's skincare, whether that is getting up in the morning, reading our Bibles, reading a devotional. But what does that stable routine look like for you, and how can you get there so that you can increase your motivation? Along with a routine, it is so important for us to have visual things as well that we can look at on a daily basis to increase our motivation. And for me, that's a planner. Listen, I have always had a planner since like middle school, y'all. Like, I live by my planner. I get one every year. I keep it for the whole year. I write down everything in it, from birthdays to, work tasks. I'm writing in my planner every single day, and I also write my goals in my planner as well. So in the planner that I have, there's a section for goals for each month, and you can list your goals for that month, and then you can write it down on other pages throughout. But I think it's so important for everyone to have a planner to give you something to look at every single day. Not only does that build your routine, but it also gives you that visual component, and it lets you know where you're supposed to be at. And by the end of the year, like, I can go back and flip through them pages and say, okay, girl, you did this, you were slacking on that, but you did this. It's a great way to really track your motivation and what you're accomplishing and what you're not accomplishing as well. Listen, I hope this video was helpful for you. Share it with someone who could really use, some pointers on increasing or building their motivation. And don't forget to click one of these videos here if you want a little more on how you can improve. Bye.